This may look like either a really small word processing typewriter or an overgrown Brother P-Touch label maker, but it's actually the CW-L300 LabelBiz Disk Title Printer by Casio, like the calculator. You may remember when LGR featured the Casio CW50 thermal CD printer, which he really enjoyed using.
Oh, dude, this is neat. Okay. I'm getting kind of excited, weirdly.
Well, this is basically the standalone equivalent of that, with its own built-in keyboard and display. In February 2006, it was featured in the Singapore HWM Hardware Magazine list of must-have gadgets. They called it a pirate's dream come true. Fresh from the Casio Labs is the new CW-L300 dual label printer, featuring a QWERTY keyboard, a two-way print head, a USB connection, and an auto cutter. This printer not only does the usual print, peel, and paste adhesive labels, but can also print onto optical discs. Great for neatly labeling your not-so-legal media files that were acquired off the net. Oh, and it can do barcode printing and has a variety of fonts too. The price was $129 US. As that article alluded to, it has a USB port, so you can connect it to a computer and use it as a printer, but I prefer to use it as a standalone device. It originally came with a 21-volt DC power supply with an unusually large connector, but it can also run on 8 AA batteries. And it even has a flip-out handle so you can carry it with you on the go. In addition to connecting it to your computer or printing directly onto discs, it could also serve as a label maker with an optional tape cassette. But this one just has the standard thermal ribbon for printing onto discs. You could get these in different colors. This one is the standard black one. I don't think they're making these anymore, but you can still find new old stock ones. And as this sticker shows, instead of having a tray you load the disc into, it has this slot here which you just slide the disc into and it prints onto the disc directly. It does not require special light scribe type discs. As LGR shows, it'll print on virtually any kind of CD and even some things which aren't CDs.
Thermal printers, baby! They don't care. They'll print on basically whatever.
Unfortunately, its non-backlit monochrome LCD has a few columns of dead pixels, but no matter, it still works. You can choose to print onto a disc, onto a tape, or to retrieve the last data you entered into it. It has a battery-backed memory. So I'll choose disk, and I'll choose a new disk, and you get several styles of printing. You can print onto the top and bottom of the disk, just the top or just the bottom. In this case, I did my first test of printing a label onto the top of the disk for a copy of ULEAD Video Studio. Unfortunately, with this software, when it asks you to enter the serial number, it does not let you Alt-Tab to another window to copy and paste it into the program. You have to enter it by hand. So I want to print that serial number onto the bottom of the disk. So I'll choose Disk B to print on the bottom, and you get a bunch of different formats. You get one large line, you get two lines, one large line and one small line on the top, and then a large line underneath it, and so on and so forth, up to, I think they said up to 12 different lines.
Both the label and the disc printers can print up to 8 lines.
You get quite a variety here, but what I want is just a single line, so I think format 2 will do. Actually, as you may have noticed, that format that I selected has a maximum of 16 characters, and the serial number I want to enter is 20 characters. And don't worry, this is all on archive.org, so it's not revealing anything confidential here. As you can see by the list on the side of the display here, you can choose different fonts, but in the disk mode, you can't choose different sizes of fonts. If I push the size button, it just beeps at me. So what I have to do is escape out of this and go back into that, and now choose the auto format, which will automatically adjust the size of the text according to how much you type in. So where is it? Auto 1 is 1 line and Auto 2 is 2 lines. So I'll select Auto 1 for 1 line. And now I can type it in. Oops, I want uppercase. So caps. Okay, I think that's it. And now I'll press set. And I can choose to print, store, or exit. Print onto a disk. Now it's asking me to put the disk into the slot. So here we go. I'm just going to eyeball it, try to make it straight. Okay. Press set. Print air, load an ink ribbon. I did. See, that was giving me problems before. This doesn't snap into place all the way, all the time. So let's try that again. That's what you get for buying stuff at the thrift store. At least it was 75% off. Okay, is it going to work this time? Yes. Unfortunately, this disc is very, very reflective, so it doesn't show up that well, but it did definitely print that label where I wanted it to. And now I'm going to relabel a disc I already labeled by hand. I'll print right over the magic marker writing, and then when that's done, I should be able to wipe off the magic marker with some alcohol, but the thermal printing should not be affected by that. In this case, I want to print on both the top and bottom of the disc, so I'll select Disc A and B to do that. It lets you choose different formats for the two areas. So for area A, I'll select Format 4 to have one large line and one smaller line underneath. Then for area B, I just want one line and it doesn't need to be that big, so I'll select Format 2. Now I'll type in the title. Okay, let's see, set, comment, oops. The capitals are only a toggle. You don't hold down shift to type a capital letter. Okay, now for area B, it's just going to say 224 kbps MP3. I keep forgetting you hit set, not enter. Now I'm ready to print. Now to print area A, just like that printer that LGR reviewed, you insert the disc upside down. So this flap is a little bit inconvenient, but there it goes. Press set. Just as I expected, it printed the label right over where I wrote onto the disc, but like I said, I should be able to wipe that off without affecting the thermal printed label. And now I'm going to print the bottom label. And now with a little bit of denatured alcohol, I should be able to wipe off my writing without affecting the printed labels. Yep. Look at that, like magic. Actually, the ability of alcohol to remove magic marker writing from CDs and DVDs really only works on discs that have a smooth finish. This one has more of a matte finish, so you can see it still left a trace of the writing behind. But nonetheless, I'm going to print my labels onto it. Just as LGR showed, the only thing it doesn't print on is where the disc has some of the finish etched away for the company's logo or lines or other writing that's on the disc permanently. You can see that effect on the title there. And this one has a line running through it, but it's not really that noticeable compared to what it did here. The solution to this would be to set it to print 2 lines and just leave the first line blank, and that would shift this line down and out of the way of the Fujifilm logo. And you may wonder, can it print onto a piece of paper? Well, we're about to find out. Place a disc in printer correctly. It doesn't like that. So let me try again. Nope. I think it's expecting something with a curved edge, like the CD. There must be some kind of switch in there that I'm not hitting right. Yep, it keeps complaining. Nope, doesn't want to go. So whatever you print on must be approximately disc-sized and disc-shaped in order for it to work. It's also useful for printing a label onto CDs which do not have their artist and title obviously marked on the disc. That's better. I also used it to print "This is not an actual CDRW" onto this Matchbox 20 EP CD that was made to look like a CDRW. So I've had a lot of fun demonstrating the Casio CW-L300 Label Biz disc title printer.
Hi.
Hey, I'm Cassius.
Seriously? Like the calculator? Oh wait, no, that's sorry. What a nerd.